Hi everyone, and welcome back to Nasedyanka, the channel where I talk about Bulgarian history, culture, tradition, and faith. So after some time, a couple months of a break, here I am, like I promised to you. I did have to pause and reorient because there were quite a few trials and tribulations, life-related, that took place unexpectedly for me this summer, including technological issues and storage space and financial concerns. So I needed to reorganize my priorities and start again, basically take care of what needed to be taken care of first. So here I am. And as mentioned in my previous video, I'm not giving up. I will continue, even though it's not, it's just not everybody has the capacity to produce videos, and so it's time consuming and it is resource consuming, but it's also worth it. So I am doing what I'm doing. So what I've decided here today to do is I wanted to catch you up with the month of August on the Bulgarian Holy Orthodox Christian saints. And so I have a cheat sheet here like I typically do, and I'm just going to share with you guys some of those. Saint and Venerable Joachim of Osogovo, also known as Joachim or Joachim of Sarjipol or Sarandapur. In Bulgaria, he's commemorated in August 16th, and his year is 1105, so 1105 AD. Again, commemorated on August 16th in general in the country. The Osogovo mountain basically rises southwest of Kyustendil, which is a Bulgarian region. The border between Bulgaria and Serbia now runs along that place. The place where Venerable Joachim of Osogovo lived is currently located in Serbia, and this happens a lot. I've mentioned in previous episodes, you'll hear about a Bulgarian saint who is associated with another region like Albania or like Macedonia, but they are Bulgarian because Bulgarians inhabited those lands. So it is known that the saint is lived in that place, but we don't know when he was born. We know that he lived in the 11th century and presented himself to the Lord at the very beginning of the 12th century when Bulgaria was under the Byzantine rule. He is one of four great Bulgarian ascetic hermits who had the strongest influence on the piety of our people and especially on the Bulgarian monasticism. Those four include other saints, like I said, that are very popular in Bulgaria, and at some point I'm going to talk about them, but their names are Venerable Saint Ioan Rilski, also called John of Rila, Saint John of Rila. He's our wonder worker. Saint Gavril or Gabriel of Lesnovsky, Prokhor Pshinsky, and Joachim Osogovsky. These are the four. Once, as a stranger, Joachim came to pray in the home church of the local boyar in the village of Gradec in Bulgaria. In a conversation with the good boyar, he basically asked him to point out a suitable place for a secluded ascetic life. And so the boyar pointed out to him a cave near the river Sarandapur, and this is the name in Greek language. In Bulgarian language, we call that river Kriva Reka, and Kriva literally means crooked river. So Joachim moved to that cave, and he spent the rest of his life there in strict fasting and contemplative prayer. We also know that once he was accidentally encountered by hunters who were despairing of their failure in the hunt. The holy man showed them a place where they caught a lot of game, and from that time onwards, the works of these people generally went pretty well due to the blessing of the holy ascetic. But when they visited his cave on another occasion, at some point later, they found him lying dead on the ground, and they buried him there. After that, they often came back to his grave with incense and candles in his honor. 50 years later, a widowed priest by the name of Theodore, who was from the village of Osmidol in the Ovchepol region. Again, that's in Bulgaria. These are regions in Bulgaria. He settled in the place where Joachim, Saint Joachim, used to live as an ascetic, and he took the monastic vows with the name Theophan, or Theophanes in English. So Venerable Joachim appeared to him several times. He ordered him to remove his imperishable relics from the ground. So Theophanes, or Theophan, like we say, fulfilled the old man's order, or the elder's order, after which he built a monastery with a temple that was named after this venerable saint. The holy relics of Saint Joachim are still located in this very monastery to this date. A boyar came angry against the innocent Theophan or Theophanes one day, but his horse overthrew him to the ground. And what's interesting is that both of his legs were broken when he fell from that accident. So Venerable Joachim actually appeared to this man in a dream, and he ordered him to make a gift to the monastery and to reconcile with the abbot Theophanes. The boyars are the rich people, basically. So that man carried out the order, and he was recovered completely, which was considered a miracle, of course, and it was as if nothing had ever happened to him. So many times the monk miraculously protected the property of his monastery from robbery by outsiders and invaders. He also instructed the monastic brothers who lived in that monastery like a true abbot when they made mistakes. After the liberation of Bulgaria from the Byzantine yoke, that's the year of 1186 AD, this monk and saint Joachim also gave a warning in a dream revelation that the Bulgarian king at the time, Kaloyan, by the name of Kaloyan, would visit the monastery on the day of his memory, and that the brothers were obligated to welcome him. So Venerable Joachim deigned to reveal the year of his death as well in a dream. Basically, he said that 8 years before the great solar eclipse, he was going to go present himself to the Lord, which occurred in reality on the 19th of March in the year 1113 AD. And so indeed, this saint and venerable, like we call him, Joachim of Osogovo, presented himself in the Lord on that on August 16th, 1105. So the dream, the vision, I should clarify here, occurred on March 19th, 1113, and the saints presenting to the Lord occurred exactly 8 years later in 1105, August 16th, which is also the day when we commemorate him. His life was published also by Professor Yordan Ivanov. It's called Bulgarian Antiquities from Macedonia, as I'm reading it here from my cheat sheet. Sofia, the year was 1931, pages 400 through 404. And I'll put this in my quotation, description section. So, somebody else that I wanted to talk to you guys about as I'm scrolling down through my notes. Let's see. Yeah, that would be Saint and new martyr Anastasi, or Anastasius of Strumitsa. He is also referred by Bulgarians as Spas Radevski. Saint Spas Radovishki is how sometimes we call him. He's commemorated on August 29th, 1794. Is the year, basically, when he presented himself to the Lord. So Spas, also called Anastasia, and I should make a note here. You will notice a lot, you may be aware of that, but in Bulgarian language, again, the language is so rich and flexible, and the grammar is complex. So an example is that we have a given name, but then the name will change based on whether we talk about the person, to the person, whether we are speaking to the person in an endearing manner or we're speaking to them in an angry manner, commanding manner. So you may hear different words that sound different, but ultimately they refer to the same one word, or in this case, name and person. So for Athanasi, we often call Athanasi Spas. It's just how it goes. So this saint was born around the year of 1774 in the village of Radovish, now Radovisht. They say it's Strumica diocese in Macedonia. Again, that's a Bulgarian region. And I will talk to you about Macedonia and Bulgaria and how the Macedonian land was practically by corruption stolen by Bulgarians. And just a basic example of this, you guys, because this argument has gone on and on and on. It continues to extend, forever, for what seems to be forever. But just the basic example I'll give you is that if I listen as a Bulgarian to somebody speaking to me in Russian language, I understand them by 70%, sometimes 60, sometimes less. If I listen to somebody speak to me in Serbian, I understand them by, again, 60 to 80%. But if I hear somebody speak to me Macedonian, I understand everything they're talking about. So it's that close. Macedonia was formed by force, by lies, in very recent times. So my great-grandmother, who was born in 1920, for example, she used to sing to me Macedonian songs. And really what that means is they are Bulgarian songs from the Macedonian region. Like, I'm from Varna, we have Bulgarian songs from the Varna region. Other people come from other regions, they have their own peculiar songs and, dress attire and so forth. So that's what I'm gonna say to you about this. But yeah, this particular saint, Spas, or Anastasi, was born in that region, which is Bulgaria. That's how he is a Bulgarian saint. So when Spas, or Saint Anastasi, turned 20, he started living in Thessaloniki, and he became an assistant to a gunsmith. Once, while attempting to illegally export several Turkish outfits, Spas, who was dressed as a Turk at the time, got into an argument with customs officials, and so the latter, the officials, made him make a salavat in their language. That's a short confession of the Muhammadan faith, of the faith of Islam. So they wanted him to prove that he was a Muslim, basically. This embarrassed the handsome young man, and the guards began to beat him. So then, with tricks and promises of material goods and well-being, the customs chief tried to persuade him to accept Islam. When he refused, they sent him to the judge. The judge also tried to turn him away from the Orthodox Christian faith, but he too failed at this attempt. So at that point, they beat the saint, who was then just a normal, ordinary man. They chained him and threw him into a dungeon. After 3 days of exhortations and torture, he was sent to the mullah, which stands for the Muhammadan, or the Muslim, I should say, spiritual judge. Here again, they tried to bribe him to accept their faith. When they were convinced of his firmness and inflexibility to deny Christian Orthodox faith, they began to torture him even more cruelly. The young man withstood all the torture as he repeated, "I'm a Christian, I am not denying my faith." Then the mullah ordered that he be hung or hanged outside of the city wall next to the so-called New Gate. On the way to his labor, or lobular place, I should say, Spas, exhausted from the torture, fell and breathed his last. That was on August 8th. The year was 1794. And Bulgaria was under Turkish Empire's rule at that point, so this was not uncommon. It happened way too much and brutally to, from Islamic occupation, causing brutalities to Bulgarian Orthodox Christians. Soon after Spas's death, the Venerable Nicodemus, the Agurite, wrote his life story, placing his memory on this date, August 8th. It is also known, it is not known why Archbishop Filaret of Chernigov in his book Saints of the Southern Slavs and in the Bulgarian Orthodox calendar, this martyr was celebrated on August 29th. So that's my translated material is saying. Basically, nobody knows why he passed away on the 8th, but we're celebrating him on the 29th. Nonetheless, we're commemorating him. So I'm moving forward through my notes to see if there is anybody else that I wanted to update you all with, but that's it for now. I will keep you updated with the saints for the month of September. When I was looking at that earlier, I noticed that there were just a few for September at this point, but we had many more for the month of October and November. It's just sometimes we have a few and then sometimes we have an abundance of them. So I might need to create several videos. We'll see how it goes. By all means, thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please feel free to subscribe. If you are triggered by this kind of talk, well, please don't watch those videos. Follow your gut and your instinct and your mind, after all. This is a channel, like I've always said, that I have dedicated to Bulgarian culture and influence and Bulgarian gifts and Bulgarian faith and Bulgarian everything. So everybody is welcome here, and I hope to continue with updating you on information. I look forward to an upcoming video where I'm planning to talk to you about yogurt, which stems from Bulgaria. Bulgaria is the home of yogurt. It's not Greece, I'm sorry. It's not other places, as much as I like my Greek neighbors. It actually comes from Bulgarian region, and I will show you how to make it in a very easy, simple way sometime soon. So stay tuned. Feel free to continue to write comments. I really appreciate the comments that I've received so far. They're very encouraging. Thank you for your kindness and for the questions also. If you guys are interested in more material and videos, definitely feel free to put those in the comments section. I may take some time because I do need to have the technology available and the time available, but I will look for the resources, translate them from Bulgarian resources like I typically do, and bring them to your attention. So thank you so much. I hope this finds you well, and I'm sending you good wishes, and we'll see each other soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.